Welcome back, everyone. Our last presenting company is Superior Drilling Products, Inc. They trade on the New York Stock Exchange American under the symbol SDPI and is an innovative, cutting-edge drilling tool technology company providing cost-saving solutions that drive production efficiencies for the oil and natural gas drilling industry. With us today is Troy Meier, Chair and CEO, Christopher Cashion, CFO, and Deborah Pawlowski, Investor Relations. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
We are excited to hear your presentation. The floor is yours.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for your interest in SDPI. Before I turn the call over to Troy, I want to point out that we may make some forward-looking statements during the presentation, as well as during the Q&A, that are covered by the safe harbor provided by the Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. We also will discuss some non-GAAP financial measures, which we believe are useful in evaluating our performance. Reconciliations of comparable GAAP with non-GAAP measures can be found in the supplemental slides of our presentation. Now allow me to do a brief introduction of Superior Drilling Products. SDPI is a technology company that applies leading-edge manufacturing techniques to both build and refurbish innovative drilling tools for primarily the oil and gas industry. The company was founded by Troy Meier back in 1993 based on the unique process he created to refurbish drill bits for Baker Hughes. We went public in May of 2014, and in the last 7 years have successfully survived 2 major downturns in the industry, while also expanding global market share with our flagship drill and ream wellbore conditioning tool. SDPI works with the world's largest oil field service companies, and the drill and ream is being used on leading oil company rigs around the world. We hope you learned today about the global market potential of the drill and ream, and that the increasing application of the tool on more rigs and the use of more tools on each rig is driving our growth. You will also see the strong operating leverage we have with increasing revenue. With that, I will now turn it over to Troy to begin. Troy?
Thanks, Deb, and thanks everyone for joining us. I'm Troy Meier, CEO of Superior Drilling Products. Let's turn to slide 4 in the slide deck. We started Superior Drilling Products 28 years ago with an innovative process for refurbishment of diamond drilling tools. As Deb mentioned, we IPO'd in May of 2014. We specialize in the manufacturing refurbishment drilling tools. Our circulating system. Today, we support and maintain the Baker Hughes drill bit fleet. We also have a wellbore conditioning fleet for drilling tool staff of dedicated personnel. We have a team of R&D working on the next drilling tool technology that we're excited to present in the near future. Let's turn to slide 5. From our world-class manufacturing facility in beautiful Vernal, Utah, we've developed an industry-leading process and procedure for drilling tool manufacturing and refurbishment, acronym for changing how users connect to knowledge. Chuck is a paperless shop management system that allows our customers to track the progress of their products going through our facility. It also time dates and stamps our process for quality assurance. We also developed Nucleus, the world's least takes, and we'll grind diamond with diamond and put it to within microns. We have a center of excellent manufacturing facility that is ISO 9001, AS9. I mentioned drill and ream. This product is by far and away the market leader in wellbore conditioning. What this product does is clean up the tortuosity. The quality wellbore created saves the operator's time and reduces the days on well. This product line has captured a good amount of market share in North America And now let's go ahead and turn to slide 7. Looking at our Middle East expansion, we have a very small but effective team. Demonstrated the value of drill and ream in Kuwait, Oman, UAE, and Saudi Arabia, of creating service centers in this international market, and have built a good fleet of tools to service this region. We have a strong management team looking over our international efforts, and we look forward to the successes in this region. With that being said, I'm going to turn time over to Chris. Chris?
Hey, thank you, Troy, and welcome everyone. Continuing with slide 9, we can see our quarterly revenue trend for the past 5 quarters. With our Q2 2021 numbers, we continue to see a strong improvement in our business. U.S. market activity as measured by the drilling rig count has improved 78%. North American revenue is up roughly 150%. Revenue exceeding activity is a result of greater market penetration across all of our product lines. The international market continues to lag the U.S. due primarily to COVID-related restrictions. However, as you can see, our Q2 2021 international revenue is up significantly from Q4 2020 and Q1 2021, driven mainly by the addition of a major new customer. Historically, the majority of our international revenue has come from Kuwait, as Troy just mentioned. However, with this new customer, we are now realizing revenue from the country of Oman. Now let's go to slide 10 and take a little deeper look at our tool and contract services revenues. We have 2 major lines of business: tool revenue, which is primarily our drill and ream wellbore conditioning tool and contract services. In North America, our go-to-market strategy is to sell the drill and ream to a distributor who then rents the tool to the end user, which is typically the oil and gas company. Internationally, we rent the tool to third-party rental tool companies who then rent the tool to the end user. Now in the chart below, the medium blue represents these tool sales and rentals. In the US, we also earn a revenue on repairing the drill and ream for our distributor, and we also earn a royalty on the distributor's rental revenue to their customers. This revenue in that chart is the navy blue. The light blue is our contract services business, where we repair and refurbish other companies' equipment. This is the business that Troy started in the mid-1990s with Baker Hughes. And in his slide presentation, you got a good feel for that history of how he started, the innovation that he created, and how that really got this company started over 25 years ago. As you can see, all business lines are up significantly in Q2 2021 versus Q3 2020, which was our low point. Now let's go to slide 11 and take a look at our operating cost base. In 2020, we took aggressive actions to reduce our costs. Our operating expenses when we began the year was roughly $5 million per quarter. You can see that by the end of the year, our quarterly operating expenses were down to $3 million. That's a roughly 40% decline. As our business has improved, we have maintained cost containment by only rehiring direct labor staff. You can see that in the first half of 2021, our operating expenses are up only roughly 10%, while as you just saw, revenue has improved over 100%. In addition, in Q2 2021, we generated over $100,000 of operating income. Now let's go to slide 12 and review our net income and adjusted EBITDA. Net income in Q2 2021 was almost break even. Now this is a tremendous improvement from the previous 4 quarters. We were running anywhere from $1 million to $1.7 million in net losses, as you can see from this chart on the left. In addition, adjusted quarterly EBITDA for quarters 2 through 4, 2020 were negative. with Q1 2021 practically break even. Now, we followed Q1 of this year's break-even EBITDA with a positive almost $1 million of EBITDA in Q2 2020. That is 28.2% of revenue. And as you can see from that chart on the right, that is a substantial turnaround. Now, this reflects the strong operating leverage our company has. When we get revenue, when we get volume, we drop significant amount of that to the bottom line. Now let's go to slide 13. Take a look at our balance sheet. You can see our balance sheet continues to improve. Our cash balance has almost doubled as of the end of Q2 2021 from that low point in Q3 2020. As well, over this period of time, we have steadily reduced our debt levels down to roughly $3 million at the end of Q2 2021. Now that is from roughly $11 million beginning in calendar year 2019, a substantial pay down of our debt. And in addition to that, in July 2021, we made our next to last $750,000 principal payment on our Hard Rock note. One more payment due in October 2022. Now let's wrap up by turning to slide 14 and take a look at our outlook and opportunities. As you have seen, our first half of 2021 growth demonstrates that we have turned the corner, and we expect the second half of 2021 to reflect a continuation of that growth. The U.S. drilling rig count is now over 500 rigs and continues to improve. COVID restrictions will continue to bring challenges to our Middle East operations. However, we're only scratching the surface in realizing the potential of the drilling ring outside the U.S. As mentioned, Kuwait has been the historic driver of our revenue, 24 rigs operating in that country. As way of comparison, the total international rig count at the end of July 2021 was 751 rigs, with 263 of those in the Middle East. So you can see the tremendous penetration potential that we have with our tool. We continue to work on global service and marketing agreements with multinational oilfield service companies in order to enable us to unlock the global value of the drilling ring. Lastly, we're in active discussions with a large oilfield service company to turnkey the manufacturing of certain of their product lines. We have an established, high-quality manufacturing reputation, which increasingly is being recognized. So with that, we conclude our formal remarks, and we'll now open it up for Q&A.
All right, we do have some questions for you. Thank you, everyone. Ben Santana asks, when can you expect to be at pre-COVID revenue levels?
Yes, we expect that in late Q1, early Q2 of next year, 2022, in roughly 6 months.
Shirley Correra asks, who are your largest customers?
Well, our largest customers, if you look at it, is Baker Hughes and Drilling Tools International. But the tools that they get them out to are all the big. We have Schlumberger, we have Halliburton, we have Weatherford, but the E&Ps, the Exxon Mobils, the Shells, the Pioneer, and then you look international, and it's the KOs.
And
you look at Kuwaiti oil, you look at Omani oil.
Yeah, Troy, just breaking up a little bit there. Kuwaiti Oil Company. It's a national oil company in Kuwait, and we're working with a couple of companies in Oman, Oxy and Omani Oil. And then we are, as we showed earlier, we are entering Saudi Arabia, and of course that will be through larger oilfield service companies, but the end user, of course, is going to be Aramco.
And Jake McManus asks, who are the largest users of the drill and Ream?
Well, that would be the companies that we just mentioned, those that we just laid out, the national oil companies internationally. And as Troy was just mentioning, in the U.S., we work with a distributor. Drilling Tools International is the name of the distributor. And the end user that they rent the tool to, it's all the big names in the U.S. It's ConocoPhillips, it's Pioneer Natural Resources. In West Texas is really our strongest basin in the U.S., and it's all the major players. Like I said, Pioneer, Parker Parsley. I mean, we're just the major operators here in the U.S.
Ted Cunningham asks what the status of your non-compliant situation is with the New York Stock Exchange.
Yes, we have until May 2022 to get back into compliance with the book equity number. And on a quarterly basis, we submit, let me back up. We submitted a plan on how we would get back into compliance with the NYSE, and then we update that plan on a quarterly basis. We are beating the plan, and we gave the NYSE our Q2 update a couple of weeks ago. And so we're waiting to hear back from them, any questions that they have. But so basically, we're right on track, and actually, we're a little bit ahead of our plan.
Ellis Malloy asks if you expect sequential growth to continue in the second half of the year.
Yes, I mean, we certainly do. I mean, as we said, in wrapping up, looking at our opportunities, I mean, the U.S. rig count continues to improve. It's over 500 rigs. Now that's not what it was pre-COVID, but it's heading in the right direction, as they say. I mean, the low point was 244 rigs back in August of last year. So it's over 100% improvement in the U.S. rig count. And like I said, you know, Baker Hughes counts rigs weekly. And every week we see a couple of rigs here, 3 or 4 rigs there, just good, strong, steady improvement. We see a lot of discipline in the U.S. Oil and gas marketplace, with operators being far more disciplined with how they roll out and drill, and that's good. That's good for our industry. But yes, with that rig count continuing to improve, and these growth opportunities that we talked about, turnkey, the product lines with the major oilfield service company, and the things going on in the Middle East with expansion outside Kuwait now into Oman, and we're looking at Saudi, but yes, we continue to expect quarter-over-quarter growth.
Marie Lynn asks, what percentage of the tool and contract industry do you control, and what is your growth plan?
Yeah, could you repeat that one more time?
Yes. What percentage of the tool and contract industry do you control, and what is your growth plan?
Not really sure the question, to be quite honest.
Chris, maybe, this is Deb, maybe you can just help them understand how we measure the market and what our tool is, and Troy, if you're not breaking up here, how the tool fits in the total bottom hole assembly, and that can help someone understand what our tool does within that. And then I think on the contract stuff, maybe just explain where the contract services revenue comes from.
Okay, I can do that if you like, Troy.
Yeah, go ahead. I have a bad internet connection for some reason. Yeah,
let me go ahead and answer that. So with our drilling Ream, that's the flagship product, as we've expressed here. We own 100% of the technology of that tool. We manufacture it, and as we said earlier, we'll sell that tool to the distributor. They get it at the hands of the operators. Now that tool goes in the drill string. So this is in the drilling environment when you're drilling an oil and gas well. And that tool will go about 150 feet above what's called the bottom hole assembly. And the bottom hole assembly is roughly the last 100 feet of a drill string, where you have the bit and a downhole mud motor and logging while drilling equipment. And so our tool sits above that, as I said, about 150 feet. And so what our tool does, it's called a well bore conditioning tool. And so as the driller turns the bit and drills the well bore, our tool cleans up these imperfections in that well bore, these what we call micro ledges, dog legs, those kinds of things. And it creates a smoother well bore so that after the well is drilled, and we do this while we're drilling. That's the uniqueness of our tool. Historically, an operator would have to go back in, or a driller would go back in and have to condition that well bore, take days to do that with what's called dedicated reamers on the end of a drill string. So our process, we do that while we're drilling, and that offers value to the customer to eliminate additional days on the rig. So when we think about the value that we give to the marketplace, it is cost savings, and it increases what we call the rate of penetration, because as we in real time remove those ledges, it removes, and so the driller can drill faster. So we help with drilling efficiencies is what that tool does. And so we rent that, our distributor rents that tools to the operators. That's the oil and gas companies, and they use them in the drill string in order to gain those efficiencies. With regard to contract services, now that business, we just make a distinguishment between tool revenue. Those are tools which embed technologies that we own, like that drilling ream. And Troy mentioned new technologies that we're coming up with, the Strider, an extended reach tool. That's tool revenue. Contract services is a business, and that's the business Troy started over 25 years ago, where we take other companies' tools and equipment, their technology, specifically Baker Hughes's drill bits. We bring them into our facilities and we refurbish those. And so it's a servicing process, which is much like our drilling ream, in that both types of equipment have PDC cutters. And so it's a service that we spend a long time doing. We're very good at it, very proficient at it. And that's the contract services. So that's kind of the way we look at those two revenue streams: our tools and equipment, our technology embedded in those equipment, and then other companies' equipment and services that we perform on their equipment. So I hope that answered the question.
Yes, and here's kind of an add-on question from Jude Garrison. Can you explain your customer base a little bit more, and do your tools get acquired or utilized by the oil and gas company themselves, or is it more subcontract for maintenance and repair companies?
Sure. So yes, our customers in the U.S., we operate through a distributor to get the drilling ream into the hands of the oil and gas companies. And so it's the oil and gas companies who are the end user of the tool. Now, the oil and gas companies, they will hire contractors out of the service industry. The Baker Hugheses of the world, the Schlumbergers, the Halliburtons, they hire the service industry to actually do the drilling and using those tools and those surfaces in the process of drilling. But it's the oil and gas companies' well that the service companies are providing these services and equipment to drill that well. And so for us, we in the U.S., and this is just our U.S. model, we go through a distributor, we sell the tool to the distributor, and the distributor rents the tools to the oil and gas companies, the end user of the tools. The tools need to come back. These tools will wear out over time, and so they have a finite life. And in that finite life, there are repair cycles. After 2 or 3 uses or runs, the tool will need to be repaired. And the tool comes back into our facility in Vernal. It's a contractual obligation that the distributor has to bring it back to us to repair it, and then ship it back to them to continue to use through the life of the tool. Once again, repairing equipment that has PDC cutters is something we've been doing for over 25 years. We're real good at it, really efficient. And so that allows us to apply our skill and control the quality of the equipment. And so in the U.S., that's how we go to market, is through the distributor. And then, as I mentioned in my remarks, we earn revenue when we repair that tool, and we get a royalty off of our distributor's rental of the tool to the end user. Internationally, it's a different go-to-market strategy. We're going to migrate toward the same go-to-market strategy in the U.S., but we're still learning the value add of the tool internationally. And so, but once again, that tool goes to the end users, which are the national oil companies, predominantly in the Middle East, and we go through service companies to do that. We don't have the contracts with the NOCs at this point, and so that's why we go through Schlumberger, Baker Hughes, Odgefeld, Weatherford, different service companies.
Tom Lopez asks, where is your expansion plan taking you? What regions are next?
We have a lot of runway left in the Middle East. I mean, as we mentioned, I mean, Kuwait, which is where the vast majority of our revenue comes historically, they got 24 rigs working. And that's about 10% of the total rigs working in the Middle East. And so we have a lot of runway just getting into, as we mentioned, Oman. We're now in Oman, and Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Qatar, Abu Dhabi. And so there is a lot of wells being drilled. And this tool, what we have demonstrated in the Middle East over the last 2 or 3 years is that the value that we've seen over the last 7, 8, 9 years in the U.S. with this tool, that value have demonstrated with the Kuwaiti Oil Company in the Middle East. And so now it's just a matter of rolling that out, and we need these joint venture relationships, these service marketing agreements with the big oil field service companies that we're working on to help get us in. They have the infrastructure. They've got the sales and the marketing. We've got the technology and the assets. And so that's what we're working on now, is to continue to put those agreements in place, and that'll allow us to continue to fully saturate the Middle East. And then outside the Middle East, Southeast Asia, Latin America, this tool offers value anywhere in the world that a horizontal wellbore is being drilled. And we are increasingly seeing in the Middle East, even in the vertical section of the wellbore, before you get horizontal, there's value that this tool is demonstrating and offering. And so the Middle East was just our stepping off point to go international. We've got the entire globe as as potential market for us.
We have one last question for you all. It's from Devin McLaughlin. Are you capitalized enough for desired organic growth, or will you need to go to the markets in the next 12 months for capital?
We're okay with where we are right now to manage the growth that we see. I will tell you, however, that some of the things that we're working on, if that were to accelerate beyond what we're looking at here over the next 6 to 12 months, that could require capital, to be quite honest. But with the foreseeable next, call it 2 quarters, with the demand that we think we're looking at in front of us, we're okay with where we are. But I'll tell you, I mean, we're dealing with big oil field service companies in the Middle East, big end users. We've been over there 2 or 3 years. We're starting to see some wonderful traction. If it happens to start moving faster than what we're thinking, then we're going to need to get some more capital.
Well, thank you for this presentation. We really look forward to you joining us again to hear these exciting updates from you and your team. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, it's been a great conference today. In just a minute, you're going to be redirected to the registration page for the next conference, so please stay on to reserve your spot early. On behalf of all of us at Emerging Growth, I'd like to thank all of our presenters today and our attendees for helping make this 15th Emerging Growth Conference such a great success. Remember that a complete replay of this conference, separated by company, will be made available on the Emerging Growth Conference YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Emerging Growth Conference. Please subscribe there. Also follow us on Twitter @EmergingGrowthC. We post all new information to Twitter first. I'm Ameri, and on behalf of myself and our whole team who made this event possible today. I wish you all a great rest of your week, a successful week as well, and stay healthy. We'll see you again very soon. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you.